Buzani Boo. And grand greetings, abundant blessings to us all. I definitely go by Ubaba Lex, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another live teachings. As per, the new sort of format we're using is we're having a bit of a panel. For at the bottom, as you can see there, questions and answers, Q&A. All right. I'm just going to be inviting some guests in as we continuing, as I'm also just going through a bit of some housekeeping. How's everybody keeping, man? Because once again, this shift is here now. All right. We've officially arrived at the shift. Okay. And for those of you who are feeling a lot more symptoms, flu-like symptoms, you could be feeling mental symptoms, okay, depression, anxieties. You could be feeling all of these things at the same time. And what I want to let you know is that it's all right, okay? It's all good and it's necessary, because what's taking place, as you're aware, if you're not, please go ahead and check the channel. It's so much free resources, all right? But once again, just a quick search will assist you. What is solar maximum? What is solar cycle 25? And what does it mean for me? What does it mean for you? Okay, what does it mean for us all? It means that there are rapid changes taking place. These rapid changes are not only a physical change, physical shift, but it's also a mental shift. You seen? Seen. Okay. The mental shift is the most toughest, which is why there's, since the rapture of 2020, there's so much what? Mental health issues outside. Guys, listen, I'm not laughing at anybody's situation or scenario, but this is what's taking place. All right, I'm going to be careful because this is also for entertainment, educational purposes only. So, on these platforms, we have to tend to watch our spells. Otherwise, we get flagged, you see. We're not trying to get flagged. What we're actually engaging in is some beautiful teachings, okay? As we're sending some invites. Shout out to the Lighthouse Portal who has just joined. If you would like to jump on the panel for the questions and answers section, you may. And then also you may raise your hand periodically throughout the teachings. Also, please do share. This is going to be super powerful, super insightful, and as per usual, you will learn something. You will definitely learn something to assist you in moving forth, and especially in this time. As we're saying, we're in what you call solar maximum. Okay? Solar maximum means that the solar activity is heightened. That heightened solar activity is interacting with your consciousness. Your consciousness is that which creates what you perceive as you and also reality. Because everything is conscious. Okay? Conscious meaning that it is able to be what it is. Simple. Okay? And when you're able to be what you are, which I feel that we're the only species that are not what we are. We're human doing, not human being. We're not even living up to our name, which is wild, all right? And so as we now continue, since we have some people joining, we're going to now jump into the teachings nicely. Once again, welcome to everybody. This is going to go on a replay. You're going to be mentioned. The replays are on the YouTube channel at Lex Stays Liquid. And this teachings here is fasting and holistic health. Okay. Beautiful. You know, this is where I play. This is where I stay. Lex stays liquid, as you're aware. Okay. Uh, we've been fasting consciously, consistently since 2019. To heal ourselves, all right? Because once again, there's something known as the dark night of the soul, which I'm going to tap into a bit later. The dark night of the soul is super terrifying if it's taking place, because what's going to take place is your mind starts to shift. Okay, that shift, if you're not ready, is super destructive. Because what? Chaos theory. Chaos can be utilized twofold, either for creation or destruction. Because like seed, which is planted in the soil, into life. So was I. Welcome to everyone. Please join. And if you would like to join the panel for Q&A, please do. Welcome to the Lighthouse Portal. Oh, they pausing me. This is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Shout out to Sweetness Mokwe in the house. Shout out to Tiffany in the house. Oh my goodness. Let's do something here. This is why we require the Lighthouse Portal, VAI, Law of Attunement Teachings. One is going to be published through, let's see. Togozani, abundant blessings. This is for educational and entertainment purposes only, TikToks. All right. Okay, it seems as though we are sort of normal. Wow, TikTok, thank you so much. Please, I'm
That's not
sure.
normal.
Togozan, welcome to Sister Tiffany on the panel. Thank you for joining us. How do we feel before we continue?
Yeah, good. I'm just interested in your topic here, fasting. I feel like it's naturally what most people's bodies that are in alignment have progressed to being a much lighter density and therefore eating a lighter frequency food and not having heavy density GMO chemical riddled foods, in our bodies as much. We're having more food sensitivities, not because there's anything wrong with the children, but because a lot of the heavy metals from immunizations and things, but then also the chemicals in the environment suppresses immunity, which causes asthma, allergies, and eczema comes from immune disorder, right? But then also like just being a lighter frequency in terms of how much we consume so that we can become more light body and less density. So I'm very interested to see what you're going to share today.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much for the beautiful comments. And yes, it's, I mean, it's imperative that we begin to recognize and realize where we're at in terms of just everything that's taking place. Just before TikTok pretty much glitched me out, I said that if you do not know that we're in a solar maximum and that it's solar cycle 25 and what that entails and what that means, not just in terms of heat, but in terms of what the sun is, in terms of it raising consciousness. So if you're unaware of that, definitely right now there's a lot of lunatics outside. You see? But at the end of the day, this is what we must face. And we have the power to fix it. You don't have to be a multimillionaire. Actually, to the contrary, you can be the most simplified being, yet be the most powerful. This is what we're about to share also. Uh, More of the angles, which are also, if you flip that spell, angels, rays of light frequencies, which we're able to tap into once, as you mentioned, become lighter beings. Hence the term light being, enlightened. It all speaks to density as well, which is absolutely powerful. Welcome to Brother Sage in the building. Yes, man. If you'd like to join the panel, please send an invite. Welcome to the Lighthouse Portal, all the way from Maui, Hawaii. And also welcome to that Starlight. Yes. Do you guys want to just say hi quickly before I continue?
Hello, everyone. My name is Elijah. I actually do fast a lot. I've been fasting probably for the last 6 months to a year, eating about one meal a day and just snacking before I eat my main meal. I couldn't understand why I was doing it, but then I realized I've been a light worker for and a psychic for over 7 years practicing on my own, and I've done over 2,000 readings as well. So I've done my work on this planet so far. I'm 45 years old right now, currently. This is all started when I was 18 years old in my life when I first started my spiritual practice. And I've learned a lot, and I'm glad to be here to learn a lot from you.
Brother Elijah, thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to meet you. But yes, you see, you listened to the prompts to your intuition a long time ago, but also you stepped into your mission. into your power, into your service. So naturally, by nature, you're going to attempt to be lighter. And even at the moment, this is what's taking place also. Spontaneous fastings, spontaneous loss of certain love for certain foods, meats, processed, takeaways, takeouts, all of this fast, fatty, processed, all of it is just, and especially sweets, because what we're realizing, which is even scarier, I'm just going to go out there with this one, this is for entertainment and educational purposes only, is that in the water now there's very scary things within, okay, even things such as corpses, okay, but it's real, and also hormone things which affect our hormones. You see, once you affect the hormone, it's now affecting the gland, which then affects the organ, which then affects the system, whichever system that is tied to, which eventually is the whole entire being, you see, which is absolutely powerful to start to come into your own knowingness. You know, we don't need any doctors, we don't need anyone, we don't need any more middlemen. This is also what the sun is doing. It's removing the middleman, which is the neutron. And it's a direct relationship now, a direct connection. So the more lighter you are, the more grounded you are, the more solala, the more sun you take in, the more you're able to tap into Akash, because that is where Akash is housed. It's because there's nothing new under the sun. So therefore, everything has been recorded by the sun. This is a beautiful thing to also be very aware of, highly aware of it. You see? Okay? And just want to say shout out to the Lighthouse Portal. Do you want to say a few words before we continue?
Aloha, mahalo for having me today. And yes, I would love to just say thank you for doing this and just starting starting us off on the on the right frequency for an eclipse portal, if you know what I mean. And yeah, I've been fasting for like 4 years now, and it started intermittently, and then I couldn't stop. Like, I love fasting. I do it all the time. So thank you for that. And also, aloha amahalo na mea kapu ike mele akalani, which is the sacred beings loves and honors the music of the heavenly earth, or the heavenly body. If we don't honor our body, it's not going to honor us. So mahalo.
Yeah, it's
Mm,
definitely the temple, and we as souls are guardians over this physical body, and we have the power to shift it into pure health just with our consciousness and taking that time to sit and to heal. Also, I know this is a bit off topic, which I'm really good at being, but Elijah writes. He writes light language codes, and they look similar to the ones in your painting. So I just thought starlight. I know that he does that, and it would just be cool if you guys could connect on that at some point, just as a sidebar.
Oh, that's so interesting. Thank you. And thank you, Lex, for holding space for this frequentation. Mahalo.
It's interesting that the last 6-7 months is when he started to get these downloads, and how fast he's synonymous with being a clearer channel for higher frequency.
absolutely. You know, since 2020, it's been what we call the awakening. And it's not for nothing, because frequencies have shifted. And it's starting with the sun. Everything starts with the sun. And this also speaks to our circadian rhythm, right? The more sun you have, the more you pretty much charge your hippocampus area, which houses that beautiful pineal, that gland over there, which then allows you to project or to see. It gives inner light. Not the only gland, but it's the major one, right? Which is a beautiful thing to be aware of. And this is no more occult, esoteric, out there, woo-woo. If you still feel that it is, chances are you're really going through it. You're dealing with a lot of psychosis because you keep denying what you keep seeing. You see, fool me once, you see, fool me twice. You know that saying? Okay, cool. So this is what's also taking place with what we call all of these systems in place. We need to also fast from them. You see where we're going with this? It's not just fasting from literal food or poisons, because evidently so, fear is not a factor for you. I'm playing. Evidently so, everything is poisonous. Everything is poisonous. And the more we're able to take the power in our own hands through the power of fasting. Okay, I know obviously the major thing is what is fasting. So it's not just fasting from food and drink, pharmaceuticals, street pharmaceuticals, whatever the case may be. It's also fasting from people, places, and things. Because when you fast, what tends to take place, especially when you start to begin to do, you break the threshold of 72 hours plus, now you start to begin to open up shadow work by default. You open space because you don't just cleanse the physical vessel, you start to cleanse the mental body, right? Which houses what? All of the traumas. Every one of us who's been born, okay, I can't speak to the clones. This is for entertainment and educational purposes only. But what I'm saying is, everyone that's been born and gone through the birthing process and has come across having to get a certificate, which means that you got forced into being inoculated. That's already a trauma. The way the birthing process is, that's already a trauma. There's plenty traumas already just upon entrance. So for you to say you're not traumatized, wow, you must be something else. And that's amazing. Please teach us, all right, so that we can accelerate those of us who, really are not capable of helping ourselves through our own mental strife, right? Once again, we are all also colonized. We're force-fed a system or systems which are unnatural. The more unnatural you are, the more pain you go through, because you're going against your natural nature. We're the only bunch of species who go against our natural nature, and day to day we still enjoy it. That's wild work, if you ask me. Okay? So this is what fasting is. Then the most imperative, which we're heading into, the age of Aquarius, the age of Ma'at, okay, supreme balance, is spiritual health. This also lends a lot to what you call being able to perceive multiple dimensions, simultaneous time, timelessness. What you're able to tap into is what they say magic. No, it's simply science which we are not accustomed to or used to. Simple. So once you start to become used to all of these, especially the deja vus, your dreams coming true, spontaneous or lucky streaks or whatever the case, start to take a hold of that through fasting. Because the more you fast, okay, and this is why we should be fasting in these 20s, is because the more you fast, the more you have space. Not to say starve yourself, right? There's no such thing as starving yourself. The starving is in the program of belief in your mind. A belief creates, a habit creates a belief. That comes from repetition. And that also stems from a belief system, which is usually, most likely, 99.98% of the time between the ages of 0 and 7, the programmable years. But now look what's happening outside. What is it? Is it 4 years old now? I'm not too sure. 3, 4, 5, what? They're able to do surgeries to change what they think they are. What is that? You see what I mean? That is unnatural. That is not normal. So things like this, we need to fast from it. The system is going to system. The tree is going to tree. The cloud is going to cloud. The sun is going to sun. So we must do in order for us to continue. Number one, in service of self. How are we able to love outside, love each other, if we don't even love ourselves? Exactly, Tiffany. This gender thing, I'm not going to get into it because it's over here, it's wild. I don't want to hear it over here. It doesn't make sense. And that's that. You don't want to be confusing. A child should be just playing outside. That's it. Anything more than that, you're confusing the child. Let a child be a child. So what we're also doing when we're fasting in the mental space, which we'll get to, especially in these 20s, why it's imperative, is that this energy from the sun is pulsing what we call conscious lifting energy, okay? UVA, UVB, UVC solar radiation. UVC solar radiation is now ground level. It's also available at night, in the evening. This is why the sleep cycles are a bit wonky, right? You're not sick. You don't need to take sleeping pills. This is the trick, all right? The more parasites you have within you, the more you are compelled to do some wild stuff. Point blank, period. You do some parasite cleansing. You cleanse the parasites a bit. Take a bit of a fast. You cleanse the gut, which is another brain. Right there, you've solved half of your issues. You also remember these parasites, they're able to control the mind. They can bypass the blood-brain barrier. So once they do that, you then do things and you don't know why. You know that thing? That's really wild stuff. Okay? Oh no, I just did it because I don't know why. What? This is what we call it's emotional unintelligence. How do you not know why you're doing what you're doing? And this is part of also solving the issue of grown adults but behaving like children. Right? We can solve that by each of us doing our own parts. Right? In healing the parts of us which have been traumatized, have been neglected, which is, we go back to that between the ages of 0 and 7, the programmable years. Right there house the majority of the traumas which you have in this life. And then once again, if you go slightly more mental and then you go spiritual, your ancestry, your blood crystal, Water holds memory. Mim from Hebrew, mayim, right? So water holds memory, but the more structured the water is, the more it's able to house more memory. Blood crystal is structured. Plasma is a derivative of blood crystal, which is what they're doing now. What are the Kardashians also? That crazy thing? Vampire facials? What? Wow. You see? But once again, once you begin to reattune yourself through fasting, okay, you have your own plasma. You were bathed in plasma for 9 months, 9 months. That's why babies come out smelling like roses. Okay? So these are things which the system has turned you away from. Certain things they've said it's bad, when in actual fact, everything that they're telling you that is good is poisonous. People used to drink tap water. We used to drink tap water back in the day, even in the thousands. It was still a bit fine. Now, wow, you hit that, you got 1 cup of that tap water from there, you're now breaking out in hives, you're sweating, your kneecaps now hurting. What? So all of this doesn't make sense. So if it doesn't make sense, let's leave it alone. This is what fasting is also able to train you mentally. Okay? In the beginning, it is tough, of course. It's quite frightening because once again, you come into contact with yourself in the mirror. You know that Michael Jackson song? Uh-huh. I'm looking for the man in the mirror. Yes, because what fasting does is it forces you to take a look at you, which the society, it doesn't allow us to do. So how are you meant to achieve holistic health if, number one, you only meant to focus on one thing? I mean, look, you can go to Miami, Florida, you can go to Cape Town, South Africa, you can go to where, you name it, summertime, great bodies. But that mind, poison, that spirit, off key, parasites galore, junk food, alcohol, etc., pills, whatever you name it. You see, so the physicality is, and also it's utilizing a lot of synthetic things. There's a lot of these other crazes with that O. It starts with an O, Z, and it ends with an MPIC. Okay, this is for entertainment and educational purposes only. That's wildlife. Why don't you just take a fast? Because once again, just quickly, I've got the effects of the body, the effects of fasting on the body quickly. I'm just going to quickly kick this off so that we can allow the panel to jump in nicely. So we're going to kick off with the brain. Okay, so fasting affects, number one, the brain in terms of BDNF, which is brain-derived neurotropic factor. Okay, what this factor does is it repairs and regenerates the neurons. All right, that repairing and regeneration of the neurons means that you are defending yourself against things such as Alzheimer, things such as onset dementia, things such as Parkinson. Very simple, just by even just beginning an intermittent fasting regime. Simple, meaning that upon rising, you're not stuffing your face off the cuff. You don't do that, because once you begin to recognize your circadian rhythm in the AMs, it's best to maybe give yourself what? A little bit of water, you electrify that with a bit of salt. Doesn't matter what type of salt, just whatever you've got. Don't get too fancy. Whatever you got is cool. Don't worry about, oh, I need to get this. No. Whatever you got there, you put the intention inside it. Your consciousness is way stronger than anything physical, because the unseen governs the seen. Tagos, this is what we are taught also in the African spiritual sense of the terms. We know this. We're aware of this. So it doesn't matter what it is, your intention behind it, even more powerful. So if you go in with an intention of, guess what? I'm fasting, I'm going to starve, I'm going to be hungry. Guess what? You called it in very nicely. You did that. You go inside with the intention of, I'm healing, I'm going back in my mind, I'm, whatever your intentions are, you put them down nicely. Boom, boom, boom. Lo and behold, guess what? You will guaranteed assist yourself in that healing phase of yourself. Simple. Because you speak to yourselves. I mean, guess what? Who are we born with, and who do we exit with till death do you part? Ourself. Always. And we have the worst relationship with ourself. Ourself hears not only what we speak, because that now is coming quicker into existence because of that sun. Okay? This is also part of why fasting is imperative, guys. All right? Whatever you speak, whatever you think, whatever your intention is, it has to match now. You cannot think this, feel that, do this. You're going to confuse your system, and you're going to bring what they say is karma or lessons. People, places, and things to teach you where your shortfall is, where you need to heal. And fasting does this consciously, especially once you, once again, put into your intentions. And yes, of course, my brother, Starlight Seed, I'm never dying, I will live forever. Also this is what fasting is able to do. It's able to lengthen what we call telomeres. People are now going for all of these weird scientific things. No. Fasting, and specific types of fasting, because we're going to go into that right now quickly. The types of fasting are also able to target different healings for yourself. All right? Quickly, before we get into the effects on each part of the body, there's dry fasting, which that is similar to getting into REM sleep. So that is the most powerful form of fasting. But once again, you need to prepare for that type of a fast. Even if you're going for 20 hours, 16 hours, just not drinking anything at all. That is onset autophagy. Autophagy is the self-eating of dead cells and blood and different types of proteins which are no longer working in our favor. So it's a quick cleanup. If you can do 24 hours, at least once a month, that is absolutely powerful. That's potent, But once again, baby steps. Then there's the water fasting, which is beautiful. Obviously, you're going to have to structure your water, electrify your water, so that you have electrolytes, especially if you're starting off. For me, when I started off, I just went in direct. My spirit was telling me, my soul was telling me, I felt it in my bones, so my intention was already there. So I feel like my intention also just added more higher energy, more conscious energy towards it, which is a beautiful thing. And then you have intermittent, which you can kick off on there, which means you can split your fasted hours and your fed hours. The popular one is 16 hours fasted, 8 hours feeding. Okay, and then also you can control your portions. You can remove things such as dead flesh or to portion. You can start to go down to maybe only white meat, whatever the case may be, but eventually you don't need to ingest anything which has no life. Because once again, if you go onto YouTube, there's a lot of experiments where they look at through a microscope and they take a video and photos of the life force around different types of foods. Around fruits, you can see aura, you can see life force. Around things such as, especially cooked food, the life force is there, but it's very weak. Around meat, it's very weak. certain things like this, all right? But also, once again, you should also be aware of your blood type, because some beings are not able to go without certain types of foods in their diet, okay? And that's not a bad thing, because once again, you have to know thyself. It's self-gnosis, self-mastery. Not every being requires the same as every other being. Also, depending on where you're at on the map. Are you closer to the equator? Are you maybe further away towards the Capricorn or the Cancer? You see, this also plays a factor. But the best thing you can do to mitigate all of this is just by fasting. There's also the every other day fast, where you'll eat this day and then skip this day. Eat this day and then skip this day. Or you'll juice this next. You know what I mean? You can alternate. Once again, it's each up to their own type of wherever your setting is, what you're able to do and what you're able to start with. It doesn't have to be perfect, but as long as you are at least boiling your water, filtering it if you can, and then adding, this is just a small quick trick for those in the people in the back, bicarbonate of soda. You know, I do have measurements in some of my videos. I have put them in there. I'm not going to give them over here, but bicarbonate of soda is a nice thing for purifying your water. Hydrogen peroxide, depending on the percentage, you know, that's also a nice one. A few drops, tip, wonderful, glorious. You know, salt, lemon, little droplets, tip, you know, just measure for yourself, depending on also how much. Also utilizing vessels such as copper, glass, dark glass. You see, maybe creating solar water, putting it in the sun the whole day, boom, or in the middle of the sun for energizing electrolyte solar water. You get what I mean? You can get very fancy with it. You can also do what I'd love to do over the full moon fast is moon water, charging it upon the full moon, because it also helps to push through emotions. This is what the moon houses. Lunar governs emotions, hence why the term lunatic. Okay, people on the full moon tend to lose it. Now I feel like everyone's losing it every day. But, you know, I digress. So there's many different types of fasting, but once again, the major thing is just start. Start where you are, start where you can, and start with what you can. And, you know, if you're with family members, let them know. If you're with your partner, your spouse, let them know, because if you're just kicking off, your mood is going to fluctuate. I'm telling you now. If you're working, you know, a 9 to 5, a very pressing type of corporate situation still, you know, you're gonna have to maybe look to do it on the weekend. You know, you can cancel, you know, drinking with your buddies and then focus on yourself. It's all about an inside job, not the Italian job, you see? So this is all about you making the decision, and then therefore it's intentional, and therefore you won't be quote unquote starving. Okay? So the benefits of fasting are plenty. Okay? What I want to just first jump into is these beautiful effects on the brain. Brain-derived neurotropic factor. That is the repair and regeneration of your neurons. So this mitigates things such as Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, onset dementia, and you can pretty much regrow your brain cells. Okay. It also increases your brain, your stress resistance. So you're able to think under pressure. You gain more ability to stay calm in your mind. You can find information quickly. You lose brain fog, if you have any. You know, you start to also remove things such as what is this? A chatter mind, those whispers. But that is also it's a byproduct of parasites. Sorry to scare you, but you know what they've done if you can do your research, if you'd like to, when they've done a lot of autopsies lately in these 20s of brain cross sections on corpses, they found literal worms like parasites. Boo, I promise you, it's truth is stranger than fiction. I'm telling you, but you can mitigate this through fasting, right? Also, you increase your mitochondrial, let's call it your sensitivity. So that means you're able to fire thoughts quicker. Your thinking patterns become more coherent. Okay, your cognitive function increases pretty much. So in other words, you're able to retain more memory. You can able also to remember things. This is also why you start to tap into things that have been traumatized, because what happens to traumatized memories, they tend to be repressed. We tend to hide them in places in the mind where only, we call it skeletons in the closet. you know Okay, moving on. So number 2, the liver. Your insulin sensitivity goes all the way up. So in other words, insulin is a very powerful hormone. It's a steroid pretty much. Okay, it's for growth. But when the insulin sensitivity goes up, you're able to balance your blood sugar, which means that you're not as angry. You're not as quick trigger, right? Because that is where, as per Chinese medicine, traditional Chinese medicine, TCM, anger is housed in the liver. But you can also see it in a person who is a strong drinker or a strong addict, because the liver is shot. But even someone who is a strong eater, like you just really always, you grazing, especially a lot of carbohydrates, processed, fast, then you can see those kind of behaviors come out, you see, because you're not able to take care of yourself, right? So that insulin sensitivity goes up. Also, you're able to absorb nutrients easier. You don't have to have as much to have as good effect, right? So this means that you start to have more sparing of your nervous system. Exactly. Because now what also goes up is your ability to detox. What also goes up is autophagy, your ability to clean out, because the liver is the nuclear reactor factory. The liver is the nuclear reactor factory. This is why when it goes offline or when it goes fatty liver, then onset anger by default, because toxins now bleed into the blood stream, right? Your antioxidant network also goes up. So you're able to clean out much more efficiently, nicely. Your fatty liver definitely goes down. So which means that your ability to store vitamins goes up. Your food metabolism goes up. You produce more bile, which means that you're able to eradicate everything completely. There's not any maybe solids left over, composite food, pharmaceuticals, whatever the case, just stuck there, which then therefore get encapsulated by mucus, which then get calcified, and then you have another issue. All right. You also are able to detox excess hormones in the blood and also in the body. Perfect. All right, then we move on to the gut. Your gut microbiome diversity goes up, which is also, as we spoke about earlier, is that it is the second gut, the second brain. The gut microbiome goes up in diversity, meaning that you're able to have more serotonin production. You're able to also dream better. You notice that you have a big meal just before slumber, you don't quite rest. You need at least 4 to 5 hours before if you've had something very dense. But also if you're in a fasted state, maybe if you're doing like myself, I do OMAD upon when I'm eating, on pressing times, on times when the vessel feels like it, I'll go 2MAD, 2 meals a day. But other than that, it's OMAD. If sometimes if the energy is speaking to me, I'll skip a day. I'll maybe skip 2 days. but I'll make sure that I've got the water correct. I've still got my physical fitness program. Even if I'm feeling type of bad, I'll make sure that I at least get my 100 push-ups in. So this is all a consciously consistent self-development, self-mastery type of journey. You know, no one must tell you what to do. I'm not telling you what to do, what to fast. I'm saying that you will feel it. And also you can mitigate all of these bad feelings in yourself through your whole system should you look to fast. Perfect, right? So also now we move on to the immune system. I want to quickly get through this so we can have the panel join in. The immune system, your white blood cell count goes all the way up, meaning that your ability to catch whatever Bill Gates is trying to do next, it doesn't exist, all right? You pretty much are becoming your own vaccine, okay? This is for entertainment and educational purposes only. What also goes up is your stem cell production. Your bone marrows get signals to now produce stem cells because something known as, is it APK, gets turned off. That now switches on stem cells. Once you switch on your stem cells, you then now begin to switch on things such as the fountain of youth within. You begin to regenerate organs. You can regenerate your teeth, guys. You can regenerate your... Listen, this is for entertainment and educational purposes only, but I do have some testimonies for those of you interested, all right? Number 5, pancreas, which is also linked to the liver. So your insulin sensitivity definitely goes up. Beautiful. Which means that you're able to control your blood sugars. Beautiful. All right. Now, number 6, we go into fat. There's an uptick in what we call lipolysis, which is the breakdown of fat. So, in other words, you become a more efficient vessel. All right. What also goes up is ketones. The brain loves ketones. I don't know if you guys have heard about the keto diet, but you don't have to diet to open ketogenesis. Ketogenesis can be opened through fasting, but when you intermittent fast, you then step into a mode of not utilizing glucose as your main source of fuel, but also utilize ketones. And also you switch between a hybrid fuel system. You can look at it like a hybrid motor vehicle, exactly like that, switching into electric and a bit of petroleum. You see what I'm saying? You then your vessel begins to do that. And then eventually, once again, there's those of us who also are moving towards breatharianism. This is the pathway. If you would love to become a breatharianist, this is the way there. And then when you're fasting, you incorporate breath work. The best work is backwards breath work. Not too much, not too much, but incorporate backwards breath work. So instead of holding the out breath, hold the in breath. Did I say that correct? No, hold the out breath. Hold the out breath. You know, because we always hold the in breath. So do things backwards. Even when you're walking, even if you can run backwards, walk backwards. Do things backwards. Go on your head, go upside down. What this does is it's recalibrating your system and your nervous system. You see what I'm saying? The system has told us to go this way. The best thing we can do is 180 and go the other way. Oh, guys. Right, and then we got insulin resistance, of course, which means that your metabolism goes up. Leptin also decreases, which is the hunger signal. That hunger signal that says, oh, eat, 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 eat. Eventually what happens is you start to switch into a mode, your system switches into a mode where you could be around people eating buffet and you will feel good. You can be around people hitting a braai, barbecue, and you will still be good. You know what I mean? This is part of the superpower that comes with fasting, all right? And plenty superpowers come with fasting. including the increase of your intuition. Because remember, your gut now is clear, or clear most of the time. Also, you have superior immunity. You don't get sick all the time. You see what I mean by superpowers? But it's not really superpowers. These are innate gift. They are meant for us. The major thing is, are you going to be a victim, play victim mode, or are we going to continue into being consciously consistent in our self-mastery? Because that's the only place we're going. I mean, the children depend on it, especially, all right? The women depend on it. And this is how we're going to move forward, all right? So guys, so now the seventh and the eighth is the muscles. So in the muscles is also the heart. So everywhere here, the insulin sensitivity goes up. So in the muscles, when your insulin sensitivity goes up, since insulin is it's a steroid pretty much, it is a very powerful growth hormone, a building hormone. You can build muscle while you're in certain fasted states, because also what goes up is protein sparing. The vessel will utilize everything else and keep the muscle, provided that you do something with it. No matter, even if it's 10 of these, 5 of these, whatever the case, you're moving, you're taking a walk, you're doing something, you're stretching, all right? Perfect. You're engaging your muscles. Wonderful. What also goes up is your ability to be resistant to stress. That is absolutely powerful. All right? That is absolutely amazing. The more stress you can be resistant to, that means that things outside of you, meaning 5G, a lot of these frequency waves, they won't hit your body as much. They won't hurt your body as much. You also will begin to get used to more radiation from the sun. The better equipped, the more empty your body is, the more enlightened you are, the more you're able to withstand that sun's radiation. Doesn't matter if you're highly melanated or less melanated, doesn't matter. It's all about the melanin within, and you can create more melanin. Because remember, once again, I put this in my other live, for my Caucasoid brothers and sisters, in the 70s, 60s, y'all used to, put baby oil on and all of these oils and actually go outside and get darker, because that was a sign of health. Let me get golden brown. Ooh-wee. You see? So what happened? And now all of a sudden the sun is poison. No, what's poison is what we're putting into our bodies. That's what makes that radiation poison, and also part of the needlecraft. All right, the stuff that umchovo, that the Jabberwocky, that convid, all of that there is putting in heavy metals, microplastics, all of these things within our vessels that now give us an outer reaction, which is what is hurting us. You see? Perfect. And then now the heart. So what happens with the heart is we're now able to switch on the parasympathetic nervous system. So the heart begins to relax. The sympathetic, which is your fight and flight, which is response to stress, and this life is stressful, right? It's traumatic. So that goes down. Your ability to calm down and to be in your heart space goes all the way up. You see? The heart rate goes down, which is beautiful. You don't want a high heart rate, especially in this current stage right now where we are. It's inconducive. Your heart rate variability, which is your HRV. The heart rate variability, what tends to take place with the heart rate variability is that the more your heart is able to, your beats are able to be not just stable, boo boo, boo boo, boo boo, boo boo, boo boo. They can boo boo, boo boo boo, boo boo boo. The more they are variable, that shows that your ability to handle stress. Because what's happening with the frequencies from the solala is that every time those pulses come through, those frequencies go through our cells. They go through our heart as well, which is one of our major centers. They go through our glands, right? So they go through what they call the thymus gland. They hardly speak about the thymus gland. The thymus gland also is precisely where the strongest T lymphocyte cells are produced. Your white blood, the most powerful ones are produced at the heart place, the heart space, the thymus gland. And now, should that gland be off key, guess what takes place? People have died from a broken heart. Abo auntie, abo gogo, the mothers, the aunties, the grannies, you see, dying from a broken heart. And guess what? This is going to take even more place now because of the heavy metals available, the microplastics available. This is why fasting is a natural detoxing. You're naturally taking care of yourself. You're naturally backing yourself up. This is also why fasting is absolutely imperative in these 20s, because now, say so and so Bill Hates now says, hey, there's something else, blah, blah. Now, you see some of the countries have blocked his new vaccine, his quaccine protocol. Yes. Was it Kenya? Was it Burkina Faso? Of course. They told him to shove it because he's wild. He's crazy. Bill Hates is only for eugenics. Please research eugenics. This is for entertainment and educational purposes only. That will terrify you, but also at least you know. Once you're aware, you can do something about it. That's empowerment. Simple. All right? Your blood pressure goes down as well, and then obviously your resistance to stress. And what no one speaks about is its anti-C word with an answer. C with an answer. It's anti that. You see what I'm saying? So, with that being said, we have a beautiful panel. We've pretty much covered everything which is major key. I can tap into other things for now, but panel, how you going? Let's kick off with Jia Lang over there. Brother, welcome. If you want to keep it nice and brief so everyone can just introduce. If they've already introduced themselves, they've got some questions. But yeah, man, how you doing? How's everything going? Any questions?
Yeah, my name's Sage. I'm from Florida. I love to meditate and get nature.
Togozani, welcome to the Brother Sage, all the way from is that Miami? Florida? Beautiful, man. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I know you have some questions, and also I know you have some statements because you've also taken up fasting. You also do fast yourself. So I would love to hear some of your, perhaps if you can later share some of your experiences. Jalang,
Uh, hello?
check.
Hello, can
Yes,
you hear
go
me?
go for it. Sage you back. Yes, go for it, brother.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, since we're talking about fasting, nah, I've been fasting for, quite some time. You know what I'm saying? Like, and like when you first get into it, you know what I'm saying? It can be scary, you know what I'm saying? Because you've been told to eat this and eat that, and we need meat for protein and all these things, you know what I'm saying? But when you start to fast, and you really get to feel your energy, you know what I'm saying, or feel spirit, you know what I'm saying, feel your your cells, you know what I'm saying? or feel your vessel do what it do, clean itself out. Like it's a different experience. You know what I'm saying? And most people won't even, grasp that experience or, tune into it. You know what I'm saying? Due to, you feel me, them not even taking the steps to like fast. Like fasting is, something that's being talked about a lot, but it should definitely like be a way of life. You know what I'm saying? Like it should be in our nature. You know what I'm saying? To intake, eat to just eat to live. Let your body heal itself. Like let your body actually, function properly. But when you're constantly overindulging, you know what I'm saying, and putting, you know, like putting, constant bullshit, you know what I'm saying, like your body can't really do what it's designed to do. And I don't know, like, okay, fasting holistic, and I also want to talk about, fasting. I think fasting too, like it doesn't just correlate, with the eating habits. You know what I'm saying? I think fasting, can correlate to like, spending, like for example, like fasting from the social medias, or fasting from, yeah, technology. You know what I'm saying? Because you know the first into me tuning into spirit. Well, I've also realized, like, there's other things that I can tune into to elevate, like fasting from, you know, eating bullshit or processed foods is a good way to, get that cellular repair and rejuvenation, get your body, that energy that you need, you feel me, to get through the day, you know what I'm saying? But I also realized, like, for example, like, I listen to, sometimes I listen to, like, you know, rap rap music, and I'll be on social media scrolling sometimes, you feel me? And sometimes, fast me taking the steps to like fast and like, eat eat healthy, you know what I'm saying? It makes me want to, fast and do other things. Like, okay, if I can make a change to like eat healthy and, you know, put less, bullshit into my body, then, I could, spend time and stop listening to like, bullshit music, or, stop just watching like the propaganda, you know what I'm saying? Or like bullshit stuff that they, the television was, telling lies to the vision. So yeah, feel me? Fasting from consuming.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I love what you said about unlocking your energy, because that's what fasting does. It liberates a lot of energy which is used for consuming, which liberates it elsewhere, especially to the dome. That's why you tend to able to, especially with that brain-derived neurotropic factor, BDNF, you then able to have neurogenesis. You're creating neurons. You're creating new brain waves, new brain patterns. You're also now unlocking that frontal lobe. You're moving away from that animal brain, which most people are stuck at. Because if you look at people's emotional intelligence, without emotional intelligence, that means that you slip into that animal brain by default. Soon as you get that trigger, click, click, whoops, you revert to that child who was traumatized. You notice that? Your, net, your network your network is not too good, brother. Okay, in the meantime, while you sorting out your network, Anela, the Lighthouse Portal.
Aloha. I
Aloha.
really like that Brother Sage was basically reiterating what you had already spoken of before he arrived, and he didn't he didn't know that you had already covered that. But it's just so amazing that it's so symbolic to the energy that it's in the air, and he just he covered it in his own terms, and I thought that was really brilliant to witness. And also just, fasting in general from everything, from the consumerism, from taking in, whether it's information, energy, food, poison, poison, vision, all of it. Like when I fast, I literally like to fast from all of it at the same time, like just like a complete fast, and I feel like it just feels so good for the vessel to just be fluent in itself. And you can't be fluent in yourself if you're constantly being obliterated by outside energy, whether it comes in the way of, social media, food, people, things, places, like you said. So it's really good that we're lining up on that on our own terms and in our own ways, but it's still kind of all the same. It's the same, general outcome, which is love thy body, love thyself. Our vessel is our instrument. This is how we sing our song. This is how we invite the energy of spirit to go through us so that we can be completely whole, kavaimele elaka'i, and be an uninterrupted song, uninfiltrated. And it's a lifestyle. It's not a fad. So I just wanted to really reiterate that your consistency with your full moon fast every month has just been really helpful and powerful, and I'm grateful. Thank you so much for that. Mahalo.
Absolutely. Absolutely wonderful. Thank you for that. And thank you for, just also being consistent in your own fasting journey. Like you're saying, it's not only just the foods, it's the people, the places, the things, what no longer serves. And yes, when you start fasting, it's very painful, no matter what it is from, because it's something that you thought you could not live without. Therefore, it's a shock to the system. But this is a healthy shock. It's what we call healthy stress. So this is what fasting also is. It's putting yourself through healthy stress because you're intentional about it. That's a powerful one. Sage, you got something to say, brother? Is your network better? Brother Sage, is your network better?
Yeah, it's more clear. It's more clear for sure.
Wonderful.
Um,
Go for it. You said you had a few more questions, or you wanted to just discuss a few things about relation to fasting.
um, oh yeah, I was basically talking about the DNA. You feel me? Like, humans, like, your DNA. It's a lot of information inside of it, inside of you. You know what I'm saying? And I want to speak on, the benefits of fasting because, like, those, people. It's like you said, it's hard, right? It's hard, but it's like it's like, for example, right? Like, how beings want to, be creative, or, let's say you want to be successful in life, you feel me, or cultivate, you want to put your energy towards something, manifestation, or creating that lifestyle that you want for real, you know what I'm saying? Like, fasting really gets you, more in tune with with spirit, you know what I'm saying, with your DNA, with who you really are, you know what I'm saying? So it's like you really like grasp that part. You feel me? It's like kind of like all them answers that you were looking for. You know what I'm saying? Or that you need clarity about something. You need solutions. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you'll gain more. You feel me? From fast. It's so funny how it's like, it's you're eating less, right? You feel me? You may feel like you need a big meal. You need to eat so much. You feel me? but the benefits that like the benefits that you receive, you feel me, from it, it's kind of like it's kind of like if you want to say out of the world, you know what I'm saying, or out of the ordinary, you know what I'm saying, because it's just like most people are not even aware like then your human body holds information or your human body could do X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying? So it's like to really fast and then realize, damn, like I'm really in a human experience, or like like I am the higher self, you know what I'm saying, that's like operating the vessel, you know what I'm saying, like so it's cool to really have that awareness, to see it.
Absolutely, absolutely. You see, what you're talking about is the out of experiences. What tends to take place is since we're putting our energy away from chewing or away from people who distract us, people who hate us, people who covet us, people who don't appreciate love us, and we start to have a calm nervous system. We start to switch on that parasympathetic nervous system. We start to now switch on that BDNF, that brain derived neurotropic factor in the brain. We now begin to open up space in the guts. Now that liver, that nuclear reactor, is now producing a lot of beautiful precursors of hormones, which now get released in the guts, the intestines, as serotonin. Beautiful. Now you feel good. That's why eventually day 3, 4, you begin to just feel good. All of a sudden, you now, wow. Also, you become more clear-minded. Brain fog tends to dip. Also, what we call manifestation, you know how much easier that becomes when you have a clear vessel? Because what happens is, what we don't get is we are multidimensional, just right there standing. There's three of us right here standing in the flesh here now. There's the body, there's the mind, there's the spirit. The spirit is simply your breath. People think spirit is something outside. No. Spirit refers to your breath. Once you get into lengthier fasting, 72 hours plus, and then you incorporate breath work, and then especially holding on the outward breath, you begin to switch on your stem cells on another level. What is stem cells? Stem cells are that youth hormone, right? The more stem cells you have free floating, guess what? You begin now to back age. It's just a thing. It's not a woo-woo. With enough consistency, your cells don't know what aging looks like. Also, with the shadow work you do in your mental health, you begin to remove your traumas. Okay? And then also you begin to remove your quote unquote karma. Once you zero point that, and then you begin to get in the mode not creating any more, you begin to live in peace. You begin to realize that this that just came in, that's shook my waters. That's disrupted my peace. But then also, when you know better, you begin to do better, because fasting has taught you that you won't die. You might hurt for a few days, but you won't die. I mean, if you want to get real technical with it, you die every night and you look forward to it. See, that's called going to sleep, because you actually get into more closer to what reality is. This is what you call this is a learning place. This is a learning school. This plane of existence, eternal souls with spirit, our breath, which connects us to the soul, having a human experience, or a man experience, or a human experience, or a mankind experience, whatever you want to call it, wherever you are. Once you understand, overstand, understand, therefore you omnistand. You become holistic. Tagas. Do you want me to speak about unlocking your DNA?
Yeah, that would be amazing. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. Sage, if you have any questions, man, you just raise your hand, brother. No stress. Okay, so to unlock the DNA, since Sage already said it, it is a type of a structured water, right? DNA is very simple. It's very simple in that it's coded with four minerals, and then these minerals, one of them being carbon, C. Okay, was carbon, is it thiamine or tryptamine or something like that? Glucose something, and then there's another one, right? So there's four letters pretty much, and they get rearranged in different sequences to form a ladder, and then that ladder is there's a bond between them, all right, which creates that ladder type of look or feel. I'm going to keep this very layman's term. I don't want to get into any higher terms for entertainment and educational purposes only. So that is all structured. When they say dormant DNA, what they're saying is that the ability for the mitochondria, which is the energy in the cell, any cell, every cell we have, the mitochondria is what gives it energy. It's what creates the energetic electric charge, right? So your mitochondrial sensitivity or productivity or availability is what creates your ability to tap to that. Okay? When we come in as children, as whatever the case may be, we get a birth certificate and we are inoculated. We're given X amount of shots. Those shots switch off that ability for that mitochondria to tap that, utilizing just the natural flow of electricity, of magnetism, electromagnetism. You see, which gives it that, now it gives it the 3D spin. So what they've been doing to us through the blood crystal and the DNA is dumbing us down. Once we begin to remove all of this stuff through also the power of fasting in terms of the heavy metals, because a lot of these shots have heavy metals. They also have a lot of bio structures. Some people have reported foreskin of babies. Very sick stuff. All right, I'm not going to get into it because it's for entertainment and educational purposes only. And now all of this must be detoxed, because also in that you create a cesspool for parasites. Parasites then control us in terms of our emotions, okay? Hence lunatic, hence cravings, hence psychosis, hence all of these neurodegenerative types of symptoms which we go through. Also, a lot of the stagnancy in our bodies. Remember, if the genes are switched off or certain genomes are switched off, a child might come out as a Down syndromes. You see, for example, this is an example. You see, because a certain gene was switched off. Maybe that was while the baby was still a fetus, or that was happened to the mother through also inoculations. You see what I'm saying? It becomes a genetic disorder. That's the only time you're not able to switch on certain DNA strands. But if you are a perfectly standing being, you can work with your brain, you know, just take up fasting. What that does is that you start to clean up your mind. Once you've zero pointed and you've done shadow work in terms of your mental health, because your physical health will be the first to clear up. Then the mental health is the second. And then what you begin to tap into is your spiritual energies, spiritual powers. This is where your DNA begins to become unlocked through the spiritual health, i.e., for example, telepathy, telekinesis, levitation, clear cognition, all of the clairs actually. So you can just be next to someone. Notice this when you're fasted, especially longer periods. You can be in a room or maybe next to someone and you'll know exactly what they're going to say before they say it. Or you will hear someone thinking things, or you'll walk through a place and each person you will hear what they say. you, you see, if you don't know what's going for what, you'll think that's psychosis. If you haven't done enough cleansing, that will look like psychosis.
I got
Does
a
that make sense?
question.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? So like, okay, so your body, right? Okay, so I see myself as I'm a soul. Feel me? So is the soul, wait, is the soul the body? Would you say? Would you say the soul is the body? Or the
No, no,
soul and
the
the body are
soul,
completely two different things?
completely two different things. The soul has a body. That's why you say, I have a body, because you're not the body.
Okay. So physically the body is here, but the soul is elsewhere.
It's multidimensional. Your soul is not tethered to one place. That's why you're able to experience multiple lives or simultaneous lifetimes while you're here.
Okay. Oh, wow, in the present moment. Okay. So now that we got into that topic, the reason why I asked that is because like you feel like okay, for example, like when I wasn't cleansing and healthy, like you feel me? Like it was easy for me to like do something, low vibrational or like you know what I'm saying? Like it's easy for me to do something, you know what I'm saying, like ignorant, you know what I'm saying? But it wasn't until like you feel me, like I really started the more it's like I start to see myself, you know what I'm saying, like as spirit for real, like really one with spirit, really in tune, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like okay, like something comes over you that's like, all right, I don't want to do this no more. I don't want to participate in this no more. Like I don't want to do these things. So it's kind of like so the reason why I was bringing up like the soul and spirit because like is there two versions of you? You feel me? Because like there's like for example like even your inner child or like okay your inner child and then you have certain aspects and attributes about you that you've gotten from your mother and father that make up who you are. And I think like these things like you feel me connect to the inner child and your DNA, like these things run on default mode, you know what I'm saying? Until you in tune with your,
Hi all.
until
Sorry
you
about
like
that. I had some
mm,
pre-planned meetings that I was reminded I needed to jump on, so apologies.
until you tune into like spirit
No worries.
and then you realize something higher, you know what I'm saying? Like for example,
Can you all
I said all
hear?
this to say like is there a higher version if there a higher version of you? Like for example, if I made the choice right now to fast, I might say right now, I might want to fast for 7 days, right? But there's you feel me? But when you do since I never did that before, it's like I don't know what that really looks like. You feel me? But like there might be, you feel me, a different aspect of me or a different version of me or a higher version of me that is the higher self that is like it's kind of like all right, like I know I need to fast. I know I want to fast. You feel me? But I don't know. I don't like for 7 days, but I don't know what that looks like. You feel me? So what I'm saying is like you feel me? And talking about DNA unlocking, like when people fast, you feel me? Like is it that they're tuning into like when they tune into their DNA or their ability, is it like you're becoming a different person? You're tuning into like a different person or a healthier version, or it's like it was all that was always you, you know what I'm saying? It was just underneath a lot of bullshit. It's just a lot of bullshit. Like what is it more so? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like a higher version of you tuning into the vessel and realizing that it's here in this human experience, or is it more so I've always been here. We Everyone has always been their higher self and has always been tuned into spirit, but they don't know due to the gunk and yeah.
Absolutely stunning question. That's a beautiful question, man. You see, what you're
Hmm.
saying, and just by the way, Tiffany, it's all good, sister. Welcome back. Please do share. Please continue to like, guys. Now we're getting into the questions and answers. So this is the fun part, if it isn't already fun, right? So unlocking your DNA. Remember, structured water holds memory, or any water holds memory, depending on what you do to it. So this is why drinking tap water has the memory of what? Not only pharmaceuticals, but also a lot of the other traumatized, whatever the case may be, corpses inside that water. Also, it's going through taps, right angles. Bam, 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 slamming. That means there's no creation, there's no spiraling. In nature, there's always spiral. Spirals are a sign of creation, because what you do is you either, life is a circle, which is the feminine, which is magnetic energy. You go in a circle, meaning that you will always come back to the same point. So it's either you're spiraling up, spiraling down, or you're in a rut. Either and or. Simple. That's what life is. But that's the flow of life. When you go against the flow, you go against current. Current C. So the waters within you, which is also in the book, The Law of Attunement, you're not able to tap into your current C. Remember, law of attunement is tuning into your frequency. Simple. When you tune into your frequency, you tap into your DNA by default. The only way to do that is by being enlightened. Enlightened meaning lightening your load. Bag lady, you gonna hurt your back. Dragging all them bags. You're dragging too much baggage. The way you fast is intentional. Intentional fasting means you drop off baggage. Soon as you drop off that baggage, guess what? Whoops, now you lighten your load. You're able to then tap into telekinesis, telepathy. You're then now able to think thoughts which you never thought. You're able to pull in information from places which you never knew existed. You're able to now then also do things like levitate. It's a real thing, it takes place. But once again, you need to be consciously consistent. That is the key. Consciously consistent, because your cells are changing. They're looking to speed up. They're speeding up anyway. That's why there's a lot of what you call ascension symptoms. You might not be able to sleep, insomnia for a little bit. You might then slip into a new season where you're sleeping constantly. You see, that is your cells adjusting to the frequencies. The thing is, we don't listen. We don't listen. Number one, two, the best partner you'll have your whole life is you. Build the relationship with you. That's what fasting does. You silence everything. That's what fasting also is. You silence. Let me see what's blocking me from tapping into my DNA or my code, my mission, my acts of service, especially as a gentleman, especially as a man. This is why I created the Conscious Men community, because what I started to realize through fasting, as I was fasting, wow, I'm starting to feel the, like you said, a compulsion to want to be of service. All right, what does that look like? Let me go into what is also in the book, also what I coach, is the triple P's: your passion, purpose, play. Your passion will lead to your purpose, or your passions will lead to your purpose, for sure. But then that will allow you to play every day, because it's no more work. You're not working when you living your passion, because therefore you are in your purpose. I mean, so glorious. So guys, Sage, you get that one?
Yeah, I got you loud and clear. It's by default in nature, but yeah, I gotta get back to work.
Yes, yes, man. Thank you for joining, brother. Appreciate love your presence. So the higher self of you is always there. You're always there. What's covering us is, like you said, all of the bull dust, all of the programming, all of the traumas, all of these places and spaces that we have no business being, we shouldn't be there, yet we are there. Relationships, spaces, all of this stuff which leads us into paths which we shouldn't be, which is by default. Shout out, brother Hameen. How you feeling, man? Welcome.
What's going on? How you doing?
All good, all good. We talk from fasting and holistic health. So while you just joined there, I'm going to ask you to just mute for now, as I just pass the mic quickly to the Lighthouse Portal and then to Sister Tiffany.
Aloha. Thank you. You know, I wanted to mention something that I've noticed as a common thread throughout my fasting journey is the more I paid attention to my body and listened to the cues of fasting and just went ahead with that, regardless of the outside interventions, my intuition became on another level. Like it's phenomenal, to be honest, and I'm grateful. So a clear vessel, a clear mind, so you can just be in touch with your own magnet, the energy of your magnet that brings your life to you. And I'm just so grateful. Like, to trust our intuition is something that I feel like we have to just throw away all the other bullshit, literally, so that we can just trust ourselves, you know. And fasting allowed me to do that. So, wow, that's, yeah. And it just keeps getting more ho'oka by mele, more pure, you know. So, mahalo.
Togoza, Togozani, that was amazing. And yes, of course, the intuition. Remember that the gut is also that second brain. So it's the producer, the highest producer of serotonin, which is that feel good, it's that day hormone, without requiring your coffee, your this, your that, your Zanny. In order to feel good, you automatically, uh, you just feel good. Feeling good means that you're also healthier. Being more healthy means that you automatically would want to be of service. You then go out looking to, all right, how can I better my community? How can I, well, number one, how can I better my space, my yarding? Okay. Shout out to the Lighthouse Portal for that spell. Your garden, make your garden, your yard, a garden. So you call it the Yarden. Beautiful. Togos. Love that one. You see? So you tend to your garden, and then your family, and then your community. Therefore, unity, common unity, community. Everyone is on the same page. Because right now, with the parasites running rampant, there's so much poison everywhere, from the music industry now, which is coming out. Oh my goodness, horrible. To even now, which we're going to go live with my brother Harmeen and talk about it. It's going to be in there with the whole Tyler situation and how she's an industry plant, you know, and how everyone is now going into such a manic depressive state that we're hurting each other. You see what I'm saying? Our brothers and sisters just next door, we fighting the wrong people. So that's just my 2 cents on that. Let me not get too political. Sister Tiffany, any questions, any statements, any experiences that you'd love to share?
Yeah, no, I definitely see it. I actually have, my kids have been starting to eat things that are, they grew up on all organic, and I notice huge behavioral differences in them acting out with each other, themselves. It frustrates me in the physical body. They get access to things away from home, and I see the difference. And I think that's a huge challenge that we also have. My eldest doesn't even get tempted by anything, but my younger two, they'll eat Oreos and all the stuff, and the colorants and flavorants and preservatives, and it's frustrating because I feel like hopefully they will come back to center and everything at home is clean, but I think that's another big point is like not conditioning our children not to fall for all the gimmicks and the colorful boxes and things that the eye is drawn to and listen to the body.
Absolutely. Absolutely. With the children, you'll see it first. Behavioral, because once again, the gut, that's that gut brain. There it is once again. Sugar is, I always say it's children's cocaine. For sure. Especially the more processed it is, the more they have the blue 52s, the yellow, the red dye 67, all of that rubbish in there. But because also what we're seeing is that Fruit Loops, the reason why they don't spell it with the like fruit, they do double O, is because plausible deniability. They can deny, they can tell you that, listen, we didn't say that there's fruits in there. Though that's two O's, and all of those different quote unquote flavors, the red, the yellow, they all the same flavor. They just colored with a different microplastic, colorant, whatever you want to call it, poison. My goodness.
Speaking of rowdy, my kids are getting rowdy in the background, so I'm going to be on mute probably most of the time, just listening.
No, no worries. No worries. Look at the universe now, just giving us the signs, of course. But that's just also another heads up to all of the parents out there. You are in control of what goes into your children's mouths. If they under your roof, under the age of 18, you know what I'm saying? There's no reason for you to feel guilty for giving restriction, giving guidance. You see, this is where the man in the house comes in, you see? Because for the women's design, it's not really enforcing rules, because the mother's meant to be teaching lessons and being on the soft side of life. But you see, this society as well has now created things very awkward, very backwards, so now we're doing what we can with where we are. So the first thing is control what goes into their orifices as well as your own. So your stomach, so through your mouth, in your ears, through your eyes, and in your nose. Control what goes in those things, and also what goes on your skin, the biggest organ on the vessel, on the body. Once you can take control of that, be careful of also sunscreen. Please, you're doing yourself even worse. There's many alternatives, plenty, plenty. And once again, get used to the sun. The way you do that is by not having heavy metals, all of these plastics, microplastics, uh, also parasites. You also you're starting to create your lifestyle in such a manner where it's more simple. You start to simplify to amplify. It's also in the book, The Law of Its Human Teachings, book one. I definitely put that in there, because once you simplify, you're then not obligated to take what they give you, aka the government, aka all of these systems in place, which now have put us all in what? In dis-ease, especially the mental health, right? And just now going back quickly to that beautiful question and answer from Brother Sage in terms of unlocking your DNA. This is also what keeps your DNA switched off. It keeps you also very, very easily manipulated. Once again, like we also said a bit earlier, the more healthier you are, the more you want to shout it at the rooftops, the more you want to tell people, the more you want to assist people, the more you want to be of service, the more you want to learn, the more you want to read, the more you want to problem solve. But let me tell you something, as soon as you ill, as soon as you live in that sedentary, what's it called, SAD diet, standard American diet, then things start to take it for the worst. The turn takes the worst turn. And just now also, I wanted to quickly bring up, if there's any other questions, the Lighthouse Portal, do you have any nice questions, especially about maybe lengthier fasting or fasting while you're on your cycle, maybe things that you've encountered, maybe certain experiences maybe you'd like to share with the ladies, with the women, and also, especially those who love snacking a lot.
Yeah, thank you for your question. Listening to the body is the first, my first rule to myself, regardless of what time of the month it might be or what I think I need to be doing. So I listen to my body first always, and that's really important. And it's important not to be swayed by distractions. Distractions are meant to separate you from yourself and your trajectory and what you're supposed to be doing. So as soon as you realize that, then you're not tempted by, well, I'm not tempted by anything. Like there's no food that can sway my decision. When I'm fasted, I'm fasted. You can eat an ice cream in front of me and I'll just laugh because I don't care. Yeah, so it's kind of like mind over matter for real, but it's because you want to, not because you have to. And listening to the body is so important. During cycles, you might not want to fast. You might want to have a banana. You might want to have some cooked water with some herbs infused. You might want to, wait or do the fast right before or right after your cycle. Just listening to the body, it's super important so that you feel good with your decision, because how you feel is the most important thing, and that's how you make your decisions for your next moment is based on your now feeling and your now perception. So yeah, I hope that answers your question and helps whoever might have questions about timing of fasting and length and things like that, because ultimately it's up to you and your body and listening to yourself, because each vessel is different.
Absolutely, absolutely, and also let's touch on the dream space when you're fasted. Huh?
That's on another level. I highly suggest you take notes or have a recorder ready when you rise, because the dream walk might take you to spaces that you haven't found yourself before. And I get a lot of I don't know what to call it, like messages, I guess, and visits from the other side, and my parents will come through sometimes, and that's funny and interesting. I do notice that every time they come visit, it's because I need to remember that dream. And it's almost always, well, no, it's always has something to do with the water, either in the ocean or the river or the rain. There's always water, which tells me something significant about our water inside is very mirrored about what's going on outside. So the more we take care of ourselves, the more Huaka Vaimele our own mirror is for what's going on right outside of our body. So again, it goes into the intuition and the listening. And then the dream walks are just phenomenal. It's like a movie sometimes. So yeah, thank you.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Now since you brought that up, when I started regularly fasting, I started opening up realms, places where you hear about in ancient texts. Okay, places like the Crystal City. Have some of you been there? Have you dreamt about that place? Okay, have you been there? Have you traveled there? Also, let me tell you about my first experience. It was beautiful. I literally just finished my final day. I did my ceremony part, and then I astral traveled that evening. That evening where I astral traveled, it was around this time, around September, no, September, October, around there. So right here in the southern hemisphere, Mzansi, we have Sirius right over us. We have Orion's belt right over us. So now I get to start to sleep. All right. I'm doing a bit of breath work, and then after some time, I'm not sure how much time had elapsed, maybe a few minutes, call it about 6 minutes, and then I start to vibrate. I start to hear a vibration like this, something like this. Woo, 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 woo. It starts to go a bit quicker. Woo, 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 woo. Start spinning faster until it goes woo, and then I hear a pop, pa, and then I hear wee, and then I lift out of my body. But I lift as if I'm not floating up, like I do the Undertaker. Like I come straight up. Boom. I come straight up, and then I go to the wall. I try and switch on the light, my hand goes through. I look around, I'm like, no, no ways. I go through the wall, I get into the next room. I'm like, okay. Then I go back into my room. I'm like, all right. I say, all right, I must be, because now I'm recognizing where I'm at. Because remember, your mind starts to, your memory starts to become so clear, so clarified. So you're able to recognize where you're at. Also, I was taking in quite a lot of sun. So my pineal gland obviously had a lot of energy, you see. Now, what starts to take place is I start to levitate. Boom, I go through the roof. What? I look over as I'm going a little bit higher. I'm seeing my place. I'm seeing that place over there. I'm noticing that place, but it's in real time. So I go to a place where people go out and they party or whatever the case, and I'm seeing the people. I'm seeing them there because the next day I asked them, I said, listen, where you at, blah, blah, blah. Were you wearing this, this, this? Anyway. And then from there, I shoot up to the top of that roof. I keep looking up, and then I look up, and then all of a sudden I feel a buzz, and then boom, I'm shooting all the way up. Now I'm going towards Orion's belt, the three stars. I pop in through the middle one. Pop into this place, which I can only describe as what we can say the upper astral. All right. This upper astral sounds like a constant, is it an A note? Something like an A note, just like a celestial sound. It's a constant celestial sound. So I play around there a little bit. There's fields, but these fields are not normal fields. These fields have, like the cotton is maybe marshmallows. These beings are very, very friendly, very happy, but everyone is speaking telepathy, right? You see what I'm saying? And then I now look up, and then I go to the next realm. This realm is out of whatever I've ever experienced, but I've only read of it. And I've also heard some people who've been speaking about inner earth, who've been to inner earth, etc., speak about this. I'll answer your question in a little bit, John. No stress. If you want to join the panel and ask that, let me just finish the story. So I shoot into this place. Now the sound changes. Now it sounds more angelic. It sounds like angels are singing a certain frequency. And then I look straight forward. I see it's like a crystal, Superman, Kal-El, that glass, or is it ice dome, crystal ice sort of structure, something similar to that. Boom. Oh my goodness. So that crystal city, it looks like it's quartz crystals, but the quartz crystals have a certain rainbow shimmer. Also, the gates there are all gold. All gold. But I'm talking the most purest gold you've ever seen. And then from there, that dream ended. But then I continued to astral project. I have many more stories which I've also written down, but also some of them are also in my first book, The Law of Attunement Teachings, Book 1. The pre-order link is still available. The physical copy should be available by January 2026. All right. We do have a question. How do you fast? Okay. Since you've come in a bit late, this will go on a replay on my YouTube channel at Lex Stays Liquid. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, ask questions there. And also don't forget, we are about to get into my monthly fast on Friday at 6 p.m. Until Moon Day, which is Monday the 8th at 6 p.m. That's the 72-hour water-only full moon fast. Remember, it's not just a full moon regular. It's not just a regular full moon. It is lunar eclipse. Lunar eclipse. It's powerful. This one is the most potent since about 2022. So a lot of things are going to be shaking. Just check the content. I've left a lot of information to assist you through this beautiful September 2025. And also we have the African calendar New Year happening near 23 September. On the 23rd of September in the Southern Hemisphere, here Mzansi, South Africa especially, we're going to be saying Happy New Year at a special place called Inzalo Yelanga. The Caucasoids call it Adam's calendar. You guys can do your research if you're unaware. But once again, be in a fasted state throughout this month leading up to the new year, because you will then now reap the rewards of the energy of the hydrogen, which is now back in the Southern Hemisphere. So yes, how do you fast? What you do is you have an intention and you ask yourself, you write down, am I fasting only from food and drink? Or am I also fasting from people, places, and things? What you then do is you set up a structure. You give yourself some space. Let me say I've got, the fast, at least this full moon, it falls upon the weekend. So those of you who've been like, oh no, I'm working, I'm going to feel weak. You don't have any excuse. Invest in yourself. Go and see the details. And then join the 13 being panel, not really panel, container, which is only 13 people, because I'm able to assist each and every one of you individually, as well as if you'd like to meet other people who are fasting as well, you're then able to join the group. That's all going to be on WhatsApp. All right. But once again, you give yourself the space, you give yourself the intention. You don't fast to starve. You don't fast to be sad. You don't fast for loneliness. You fast for solitude. You fast for cleaning up. You fast for having clarity. You fast for unclogging. You fast for detoxifying. You fast because you want to become a faster being, not only in your body, because the more leaner you are, the more you want to be healthier. The more you want to fix your mind, the more you want to clean up your traumas, your blockages. You want to clean up the stress in your life. You want to become more of a complete being who is now holistic in themselves. Remember, it's all about self-development leading to self-mastery. This all fasting is not because it's a fad or they're doing it in Hollywood or blah blah. No, it's because you would love to step into your purpose, therefore step into your power. You see, it's a very simple thing, but you must be the one making those decisions. If anything outside of you is making the decision, wrong, you're going to fail. And remember, a failure just means it's a mistake. Just take it again. You mistook. You missed that take. So just take it again. It doesn't mean that you have completely failed in life. Remember, Earth is a school. Earth school. Okay? You must look out also for a lot of these things which are going to be popping up. Especially myself. We're going to be running Earth schools, where all of this ancient wisdom, ancient knowledge, also, big shout out to Ubaba Ukredo Mutwa, who, laid the pathway. They used to laugh at him. He predicted a lot of things. He was very tapped in. And so there's a lot more of us. Even if you look at the story of Simeon Kimbangu Toko, all right? They chopped him up into pieces, but he kept on coming back. He resurrected himself. And he said, there's many more like me coming. And this was just now in the 60s, 70s, 80s. Just now. Okay? Simeon Kimbangu Toko. Do some research. You'll be very shocked. All right? Lighthouse Portal, is there any other questions before we lovely close this up? Because this will definitely be on a replay. Had some beautiful questions and, the beautiful answers as well, if I do say so myself.
Oh, absolutely. And mahalo for all of your consistent sharing and teachings, and also being there for answering the questions that people have along the way, because it can get a little bit daunting sometimes and uncomfortable. So yeah, I don't really have any more questions. I just want to express my gratitude, and definitely feeling the benefits of physical, mental, and spiritual health holistically through fasting. So yeah, I recommend it for all bodies. Mahalo.
Mahalo and Togozani to everyone who managed to join. Thank you to those who continue to support the channel. If you haven't already, please like, share, subscribe, and also take a fast, man. Remember, it only takes 21 days to make or break a habit. Habitual means that it becomes a belief. A belief becomes a behavior. So if you want to undo that behavior, undo that belief, undo that habit, take a fast. With that being said, I definitely go by Ubaba Lex. Please remain blissful and at all times stay liquid.